Hi guys, it's Lynn here. Hope everyone is having a fantastic plant powered day. Now in this video I'm going to be talking about brown crispy leaves on Tradescantia Nanouk and the reasons why mine has got this. And I'm going to explain a little bit here. Now this particular Tradescantia, from what I've heard from other growers who grow this particular Tradescantia, is quite a difficult plant to grow in the sense it's very, very prone to these brown crispy leaves. And this plant here, I've had a few months and it looks absolutely dreadful. And I finally found out the reason why. Now, I've got many different types of Tradescantias in my collection and they are all absolutely thriving for me. Very easy to grow houseplants. No problems. In fact, they thrive a bit too much for me. I'm always having to prune them back every couple of weeks. Even in the winter time, they flourish. I have them all in my kitchen. And this is one, as I say, I got a few months ago. It's absolutely beautiful when I got it. Very healthy plant. I repotted it and it absolutely flourished. It grew so much new growth. Then I started noticing these brown crispy leaves. And I just want to mention that Tradescantias, if they get little brown crispy leaves, it's quite normal for them as the plant grows. But this was definitely not its normal type of just brown leaves. This was starting to come all in the middle of the plant and towards the top. I pruned it back a few times and it just still kept happening. And as you can see here, this is the new growth that's been attacked brown and crispy. And I looked at it very carefully for signs of mealybugs and spider mites, thrips and all the usual type of pests you get. I couldn't see anything and this continued to happen. I checked numerous websites and there's loads and loads of other growers having this same problem online. Some people are saying it's not enough humidity, some people are saying it's too much humidity, some people are saying it's overwatering, underwatering, too much light, too little light, it's from overpotting, underpotting, too much sun, too little sun, all of these reasons, but nobody mentioned, or very few people mentioned about pests. And as I say, I checked thoroughly and I couldn't see any signs of pests. Anyway, this plant continued to get worse and worse, and because of the brown crispy leaves and not usual typical thrip damage I normally see on my plants, I did not suspect thrips. And the other day I got my big strong magnifying loupe out and my glasses on, looked really carefully, couldn't see any thrips at all on the leaves, but on closer inspection, getting very close, I discovered very tiny transparent coloured thrips. So this is what's no doubt caused this. And then on further inspection, when I lifted the back of the leaves up, I've cleared a lot now, I could see tons of tiny little thrips all underneath and all under the leaves and all here at the growing tip as well, all going along the stems. And I'm going to show you a couple of photos that I've taken of these thrips now. And as you can see, they're incredibly tiny, my fingers pointing at them, transparent coloured, so totally different to the type of thrips I normally see on houseplants. They're normally black coloured, also incredibly tiny, but these are transparent, making it even harder to see. Very difficult. And I finally found out what's been causing this, and I know there's a lot of growers online also saying about the brown crispy leaves on these plants. And I'm not saying that if you've got this happening to your Tradescantia Nanouk that it's definitely caused from thrips or pests, but in this case with me it definitely is, and I've spotted it in time. Normally I'd give this plant a pruning back and take cuttings of it. I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm obviously going to cut off the dead leaves and everything. And so how I'm going to treat this? Well, I'm going to be putting it in the shower, hosing down the plant thoroughly with a very strong jet of warm, lukewarm water to dispose of any thrips that's physically on the plant. Going to then let the plant dry. Then I'm going to treat it with a neem oil spray. And I've made a complete video on how to treat insect pests on house plants with neem oil. So do check that video out if you haven't seen it already. And I'll link that video up above and down below in the video description. I normally treat all of my indoor house plants with neem oil regularly every month, and this prevents any pests, and I have to say I never really have a problem, lucky with pests on my houseplants. The neem oil works well, but because I've been incredibly busy over the past few weeks bringing in a lot of plants from outside and concentrating more on my cacti and succulents that I've had to bring in for winter, plus me and my partner were very sick for 2 weeks, I've let the houseplants go a little bit with the neem oil. I haven't used it for about possibly 3 months now, and this is the result, what's happened. And as I say, if I'd kept on top of it every month, this would have probably not happened. But treating it now with the neem, and I'm going to repeat it again in 5 days time, and then weekly, and that should not only get rid of all traces of thrips but also prevent them from coming back as well. And so I'm not an expert on thrips. I normally have the tiny little black ones, and I normally notice damage because it usually leaves sort of a silvery mottling. I don't normally have this happen with the brown leaves going crispy, but this particular Tradescantia, as I mentioned, any type of environment or anything that happens that's not perfect for this plant, it's very, very prone to these crispy leaves. And thrips not only do they suck on the plant leaves and the plant tissues, they also lay their eggs as well in the leaves and in the other parts of the plant, and this damage is what's caused this crispiness here. Very, very bad. And there's literally thousands of different type of thrip species. I think there's over 6,000 different varieties, so it's a pest. So the reason why I've done this video is that there's so many people having this problem with their Tradescantia Nanouk with the brown crispy leaves, and I just want to say, as I mentioned, it could be caused from a number of reasons. But if you're doing everything right, as I was in my case, and you're still noticing it, then I would treat it with neem oil or another type of insecticide to be on the safe side, because, as I mentioned, these thrips are incredibly tiny to see. So you may think there's no insects on your plant and it's still doing this, but do treat it. And I think you're going to see some results. So I will do an update on this plant in the future to show you how it recovers. It's looking absolutely dreadful now. It was such a beautiful plant. But as I say, it was a mystery for a while, and now I've found out what has been causing it. Dreaded thrips. And I hope you found this video useful, guys, if you have this happening to your Tradescantia Nanouk. And just have a very eagle eye, get a magnifying glass out, check for pests, and even if you can't physically see any, I would still treat it with some neem oil to be on the safe side. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully the update of this plant is going to look a lot better than what it does now. And I want to ask you guys, have you got this particular Tradescantia Nanouk in your collection? And if you have, leave your experiences down below with growing this plant. Have you had brown crispy leaves? Have you had problems with yours as well? Because it's always good to have feedback. I know this seems to be very common on this plant, but as I say, so are thrips on house plants. A very annoying pest, I have to say. If you haven't done already, please do subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And also you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Desert Plants of Avalon. I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness and tons of poorly plant power from across the Emerald Isle. And until my next video, bye.